Hi, I'm Josef Lipschitz.
And I'm Ryan Adams.
And today we're going to explain the manufacturing process of the BBU.
First off, we'll start off by giving you a little bit of history on the BBU. The BBU is a small part that works as the electrical pass that feeds the firing component in angel wing flares. Angel wing flares are used by the military to distract heat-seeking missiles. They're called angel wings because the aftermath resembles what you see here. The BBU itself is a tiny piece that is ordered in large quantities, such as by the millions. Here's a rough sketch of what it looks like. Since it's a part used by the military and exact specifications are classified, we don't have the actual part to show you.
Now I'll explain how it's actually made. It is made up of three parts. A round metal ring, which is called the header. There's a glass bead, which goes inside the header. And then there's a metal pin which the electric feed actually passes through. The company SHOT orders all the pieces when there's an order for BBUs, and they go through incoming. At incoming, a lot of them get inspected, but since there are millions of pieces, sometimes up to millions of pieces at least, they're not always inspected because it'll just take forever and it'll be very time costly and money costly. After incoming, it gets assembled in carbon dies, which are actually made on site. And carbon dies look like this. They use a CNC machine to make. They're a whole bunch of placeholders where the BBUs get assembled in the same like this. And then a carbon plate is put on top of it to kind of sandwich it and keep it together. Because after that, it goes through a furnace. The furnace has a belt that the engineers need to know like how fast the belt is moving and what temperature the furnace is set at, so that because essentially the glass is melting so that it seals with the metal pieces around it, but it doesn't want to melt the actual metal. After that, it gets grinded down because when the glass comes out, it's not always perfectly flat. It's usually round, and they need the whole bottom surface of the BBU over here to be flush, to be completely flat. So it gets grinded down with the machine, and after that gets nickel plated. It gets put in barrels by chemical engineers. They know how to put it in. They know how long to keep it in there for, and because they want the nickel to go on the actual surface of the pin, and they don't want it to go on the glass or the wrong places, because then it will cause for rejection of the piece. After that, it goes through the final process, which is a final inspection, where quality inspectors put it actually on the same die right here. They put all the pieces back on, and they go through it under a microscope, and they look for air bubbles in the glass, they look for carbon in the glass, they look for different causes of rejection, and then they pass what accepts and reject what gets rejected. Then they send the right parts to the company. Now, obviously, they can't measure all of it, so what they do is when the company sends the order, they do a first article inspection, which is the first batch that comes through. They inspect 100% of those parts according to AS 9102, which is conformance standards for aerospace parts. The different measurements are all specified on there by the company. They have to make sure that 100% pass or whatever the company asks for. They then send it to the company, and the company will then request that a certain percentage of the pieces get checked, and that's how it's made basically.